Imagine this, intentionally walking away from food for 3 whole days. Yeah, a full 72 hours. No snacks, no quick energy fixes, not even a tiny sip of juice. Literally just water. I know, for a lot of us, that sounds intense, maybe even a little crazy, right? But in this explainer, we're diving straight into the fascinating biology of what's actually happening inside your body during that time. And, spoiler alert, your body isn't shutting down, it's booting up.
We've been so conditioned to fear an empty stomach, haven't we? But we really need to flip the script on that entirely. Because your body, it doesn't view fasting as some punishing ordeal or as starvation. It actually sees it as a transformation. When the constant heavy lifting of digestion finally stops, your cells start speaking a totally new language, and your metabolism gets to show off what it's really capable of.
Think about the stark contrast between our modern drive-through culture and our ancestral biology. I mean, we live in this world of 24/7 food delivery apps where, let's be honest, our biggest physical exertion might just be walking to the front porch to grab a paper bag. But human bodies weren't designed to process a relentless, nonstop influx of food. We're engineered for a rhythm of abundance followed by scarcity. Our ancestors frequently went days without eating, and they didn't just collapse, they adapted, they grew sharper, and they tapped into these incredibly deep modes of biological preservation.
So let's map out this 72-hour journey, hour by hour. We're going to see exactly how your body sequentially upgrades itself when that constant influx of glucose finally comes to a halt. It is honestly like watching a masterfully choreographed biological symphony happening in distinct, super predictable phases. Right, so during the first 12 hours, everything feels completely normal. And that's because to your body, it is normal. Your liver is basically acting as the quiet hero here. It's just smoothly rationing out stored glycogen, which is essentially the stored glucose from your last meal, and gently doling out this energy so you can work, drive, laugh, and just do your thing. From the outside, absolutely nothing has changed. But as that glycogen starts to deplete, your body kind of waits to see, is this just a temporary delay or the start of something much bigger? Around the 12-hour mark, your stomach might rumble a bit. But here is the secret. You aren't actually starving. It's just a psychological echo. Your brain has spent years, literally years, learning your daily snacking routine, and it's just prompting you out of habit, not out of actual biological necessity. Now, by crossing that 12-hour threshold and pushing toward 24 hours, that safety net of glycogen is mostly gone. So your body has to make a choice, right? Panic or adapt. Well, thanks to millions of years of evolution, it adapts. Your fat cells finally open their doors, releasing fatty acids directly into your bloodstream. Your liver grabs those, converts them into ketones, and boom. Suddenly, you've switched from running on sugar to running on fat. And that is a much cleaner, much longer-lasting energy source. Around the 20-hour mark, something amazing happens upstairs. Those newly minted ketones, they easily cross the blood-brain barrier. Your brain, which usually relies almost entirely on glucose, tries this new fuel and absolutely loves it. This triggers a huge surge in BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's essentially giving your brain a powerful neurological upgrade instead of a shutdown. BDNF helps strengthen neural connections, repairs tiny blood vessels, and totally sweeps away that familiar afternoon brain fog. By the time you hit 30 to 36 hours, you reach this wild milestone of metabolic freedom. You'd probably expect to be ravenously hungry by now, right? But surprisingly, the hunger actually fades. Ghrelin, the hunger hormone, loses its demanding rhythm. That familiar, hangry irritability gets replaced with a strange, smooth, emotional calm. You realize, maybe for the very first time, that your energy isn't completely chained to your next meal. As we cross that 36-hour mark, this builds into an extraordinary stage of healing. And this is a stage that continuous eating actually prevents from ever happening. Because your digestive system is finally fully rested, your body diverts all that immense energy usually spent breaking down food and puts it into deeply repairing itself. Which brings us to autophagy. This is a Nobel Prize-winning biological concept, and it is absolutely fascinating. Think of it like millions of microscopic janitors waking up inside your cells. They go through and sweep away old, misfolded proteins, cellular debris, broken mitochondria. They tag all the damaged parts, dismantle them, and actually recycle them into fresh, new components to fundamentally reboot your cells. It is literally the ultimate internal cleansing process. And as we push past the 40-hour mark on our timeline, this cellular cleanup doesn't just continue, it accelerates. We are moving out of the deep cleaning phase and straight into deep rebuilding. Between 48 and 60 hours, your immune system initiates a full-scale reset. The body strategically breaks down old, tired white blood cells, the ones that are often responsible for chronic inflammation. It's getting rid of the soldiers that just can't keep up anymore. In response, deep inside your bone marrow, stem cells are instructed to prepare a brand new, highly efficient, and pristine immune army, totally ready to deploy the moment you start eating again. Now, if you're sitting there panicking about losing your hard-earned muscle during all this, don't be. To protect you, your human growth hormone can actually spike up to 5 times its normal level. This massive surge acts like a biological shield, actively preserving your muscle mass while repairing your tissues. Your body is incredibly smart, guys. It's not going to eat its own muscles when it needs them to survive. Pushing past 60 hours, you enter what researchers often call hunter mode. This is a peak biological state that our ancestors relied on to track down food with absolute precision after days of scarcity. At this point, your ketone levels are at their absolute peak, feeding your brain a steady, uninterrupted stream of premium fuel. In this state, instead of the jittery, anxious high you get from caffeine or sugar, you experience this beautifully described clean, cold, and solid transparency of mind. Problem solving just becomes effortless. Your senses, like taste and smell, are wildly expanded. You aren't just surviving without food here, you are operating at an optimized, razor-sharp level that modern life rarely ever lets us experience. Finally, you reach the 72-hour mark. Your digestive system is deeply rested, microscopic injuries in your gut lining are fully healed, and your microbiome is shifting into a much healthier balance. But because your system is in such a delicate, freshly repaired state, the way you return to eating is incredibly critical. You absolutely cannot just go eat a massive, heavy processed meal right now. Your insulin sensitivity is through the roof. You've got to break the fast gently using 3 specific steps. First, start with warm soup or bone broth to safely wake up your digestive enzymes. Then, introduce something incredibly gentle like steamed vegetables. And finally, move to easily digestible proteins like a soft-boiled egg. Doing this ensures a smooth, totally shock-free return to digestion. The most profound takeaway from this whole explainer isn't just physical, though. It's the psychological realization you walk away with. You learn firsthand that hunger is just a suggestion, not a biological emergency. You realize that mild discomfort is not a threat to your survival. And most importantly, you discover that the limits you thought you had were just illusions. Your body is far more resilient and incredibly adaptive than you probably ever imagined. So I'll leave you with this to ponder. Your body is this magnificent, ancient machine just waiting for the chance to optimize and clean house. And while 72 hours is an incredible journey, the transformations actually begin much earlier. So, why not see what happens when you give your digestive system just one single day of rest? What kind of hidden capabilities might you unlock in just 24 hours? It's definitely something worth thinking about.